privileged to be leading our panel discussion on the Lego Catalyst. So we were really fortunate this year to be able to partner with the Lego Foundation on a pilot. So what we did was we took our Catalyst program, which is something that we've run several times for young people, and then we worked looking at how can we make it focus on playful learning, which is something that's really important. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Stuart McAlpine, who's here from the Lego Foundation. And Stuart, I would love for you to talk about, why is playful learning important to Lego, and why is it important to you that we could work together to try and equip young people to become advocates of playful learning?
Great. So I've unmuted, so hopefully you can hear me. In general, I think the Lego group, which includes the toy maker bit, believes that children are role models and we want to inspire and develop the builders of tomorrow. But the Lego Foundation is a particular thing where the Lego group set aside 25% of itself and said, we want that money to not promote buying bricks, but just to be used to support people to learn through play. And the reason why we think that's important is because we think people learn best when they're playful and engaged. We think it develops holistic skills like creativity and collaboration. We think the process is really important, where you can test out ideas, you can iterate, you can collaborate together, and that learning is joyful and meaningful. And very briefly, if you said like, well, that's nice, but why does that matter in a bigger sense? That phrase, build the builders of tomorrow, there's obviously a pun about building tomorrow. Tomorrow doesn't look like the kind of learning that we've seen in schools for the last 100 years, maybe, since the industrial model of education of teacher at the front, knowledge and skills being directed at students memorizing those and repeating them on exams. The world doesn't need that. It's not great for mental health, it's not great for well-being, it doesn't develop the kind of skills that learners need, both to lead a good and happy life that has meaning for them, but not even for the economy. If you listen to people like the World Bank or the OECD, they will say the same thing of like, that educational model of ranks of chairs in classrooms is not going to help with the future that we need. So the Lego Foundation and the Lego group more broadly believes in the importance of playful learning, not just because we think that's part of having a really fantastic childhood, not just because we think that great learning is always playful, but also because we think actually it's what the world needs. And if we can support, as the word catalyst suggests, if we can support young people stepping up and owning that future and beginning to advocate for the kind of learning that will both support their well-being and thriving, but also help build the world that we need, then that's what we're here to do. And so we were really excited to partner with future foundations and global school leaders, and most importantly, the young people that put their hand up and gave it a go. And so we're super grateful that they did.
Wow, thank you, Stuart, so much. When we were super grateful for the opportunity to collaborate, and it has really been an amazing project, and we're still putting together all the learnings, which we'll be sharing with Lego Foundation in July. But today, I'm so excited. We have 3 of the amazing students with us who took part, and also one of the teachers who was supporting the project. And we're going to start with a student panel. And I'd like you all to introduce yourselves, if that's possible. So maybe we could start with Kashana. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Kashana. Should I say my age and like?
Yes, please. That would be great.
I'm 14 years old and I go to Dartford Grammar School for Girls.
Thank you so much. And B, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm B. I'm 14 and I go to the International School of Billund in Denmark.
Lovely. And Hazal?
Hi, I'm Hazal. I'm 14 years old and I'm going to the Ebola High School in Turkey.
Amazing. And thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it, and so excited that you can be here to share the work that you did and the learnings that you had through the program. So we've got 3 questions that we're going to talk about today. And the first question I'd like to ask the 3 of you is, how would you reimagine your school environment when using the playful learning characteristics? So who would like to go first? Kashana, would you like to?
So the thing is, I took into account two very important playful learning catalysts, which was joyful and meaningful, which is what I wanted to turn like education into in my school or my learning environment, in a sense. And what I wanted to do was make something that I did for my school to be timeless and also accessible to everybody, meaning that I had to focus on making it joyful because we're all still kids. So we focus on more of the fun side of things, and also to also make it something that would actually stay there even after I like go away from this school.
Amazing, thank you. And B, would you like to share how would you reimagine your school environment when using the playful learning characteristics?
So our school's mission and vision is putting play in the heart of learning, and it makes sense to add these characteristics to areas in my school that are unused and could invite creativity as learning, as well as educating on the world outside of school and bringing it in. So for my action, I chose traffic safety, and I reimagined a dead space as a hallway in my school to create an interactive workshop. And more of these ideas would brighten up the space and our minds. It's iterative and it's already taking an existing thing such as a pedestrian crossing and making it colorful and transforming it inside. And I think that having educational activities will engage students socially with their peers and help build school communities. So when I held my workshop, I was interacting across year groups, making connections with a variety of people, and playful learning is needed for all ages. So during the pandemic, schooling has been heavily on screen, so social and emotional learning was harder. And relationships take constant effort, and I could feel that my own school community has suffered. So I wish to rebuild this by occupying dead space with meaningful, socially interactive, joyful, and actively engaging activities.
Wow, thank you, B. That's so inspiring. And Hazal, same question to you. How would you reimagine your school environment when using the playful learning characteristics?
Actually, in Turkey, we have a hard curriculum and we have so much things to learn in just 1 year. And it's actually really stressful and pressure for everyone in my school. But when I see the playful learning catalyst, actually the main goal of it is not memorize the things, but actually learning them. And that actually help us in the future, because when you learn something, you can remember it with so quick information. But when you memorize something, you can just like forget about it in weeks, and maximum in weeks. And actually playful learning is like, imagine a ball in your brain is like an informative ball. And if you connected the dots to the ball, it will not float and it will actually stay in the place where you want it to stay. But if you don't do that, it will go away and you will never find it. Playful learning characteristics and playful learning values, actually the dots be connected to the information, just like social interactive. In my project, I made a presentation about stress and social anxiety to the 8th graders, because they actually have an exam coming on and they feel so stressed about it. And I made this presentation using the social interactive, because when I socially interact with them, do it as a presentation, they can actually see me and they can ask me their questions, I can answer their questions, and that can be more helpful for them. And also I use joyful because like Karshana said, we are all kids and we want things to be joyful to actually learn them better. And also I use meaningful because I'm making a presentation and I want everybody to find the meaning of it. Just like that, actually playful learning really going to help me in the future with learning things and actually step up without memorizing, but actually learning and use it in every part of my life.
Thank you so much. Like all three of you did such amazing projects, and for anyone listening who doesn't know about our Catalyst, you only have 30 days to actually do your social action project. So it's really, really incredible what all three of you were able to achieve with your projects. So yeah, massive well done to you all. The next question I'd like to ask is, how do you see yourself using the playful learning characteristics in the future within your school? So how do you see yourselves using them? Kashana, would you like to go again with this one?
I'm sorry, my internet connection is unstable. But so something that I learned during my 30 days of action and also the 3-day Catalyst program was that we use playful learning characteristics every day on a daily basis. And as part of my project for this, where I wanted to make my school more BSL friendly, I actually made signs that I want to put around school, and in the future we're going to make this huge like board around school where we have conversational signs or the whole alphabet, just in case someone wants to sign something that's not in the designated signs. And I feel like this makes my school a lot more like friendly towards everyone and letting everyone actually take part in everything that we do. And I feel like my school is quite forward in a sense. It has all of the things that are essential for us to excel in education, but I feel like my signs added the vital point into which we could actually now move forward even more and have my school more accessible to other people in the future.
It is really inspiring what you've been working on with the sign language science. And I think what is really, really great is how you're continuing the work now. So you've taken that 30 days of action and you're still continuing it. And I know you've been sort of getting your teachers on board and excited and involving them. So it's really, really amazing. Thank you. B, would you like to answer the question? How do you see yourself in the future using the playful learning characteristics in your school?
Currently in my school, we have the UN Sustainable Development Goals displayed on posters, and it's become part of the furniture, and it's just something at school, which is disappointing as it's losing its meaning and the value to students. So I was thinking of how we could reimagine the spaces to highlight the Sustainable Development Goals, which would inspire creative and critical thinkers who have been exposed and made aware of the UN goals. And if students being involved earlier in discussion about the Sustainable Development Goals could lead to more creative and innovative solutions. So I think that we could work on to improve them being more interactive and allowing younger children to be involved, because playful learning creates change makers and develops critical thinking and creative thinking.
It's so true, B. It's so true. It's if we want to create change in the world, we need to be creative, don't we? Which is one of the key kind of playful learning characteristics. And I couldn't agree more. Like, you cannot start this too young. So what a great idea. And Hazal, would you like to answer this question as well? How do you see yourself using the playful learning characteristics in the future within your school?
Just like I said, playful learning actually help us really learn the subject and really learn the topic of the subject. And in my school, I'm thinking about, like, it's gonna make everybody's life actually easier if we use the playful learning characteristics in our school, because like I said, our curriculum is it's hard, and we have so much information to learn in just 1 year. It can be hard and pressure for everyone. But if you use the playful learning characteristics and actually socially interacting with each other, we can learn from each other. I think that's one of the most important social characteristics values that I see during my project, even without in the start, because sometimes this is like I experienced so much. Sometimes my teacher told me something and I stuck understand and asked my friend about them. And when they told me that, I totally get it in like 1 minute. I think that's really important to do it. And actually, in our school, if we do this social playful characteristic during these years, actually can help everybody to learn the things and go forward, because the subjects are connected to each other in our classes. And if we learn from the basic, then we can actually go further with the information. That's why I found it really important to use the playful learning characteristic in my school in the future.
Thank you, Hazal. And it's so true. We all have so much to learn from each other, and collaborating together is how we're always going to achieve the most, I think, in the world. One more question. I can't believe we only have one more question left for you guys. I could ask you so many. But the last question I have for the three of you is, how has the opportunity to use your student voice on issues that you're passionate about supported your journey as a playful learning advocate? So Kashana, can I come to you as well to answer this first?
So as a whole, all of this whole journey has made me much more of a confident person, and it has stopped me self-doubting myself all the time. And also, I feel like I've influenced my peers as well. In a sense, they have lots and lots of ideas on how to transform the school now. And I feel like I've shown them that it's more acceptable to approach a teacher first on something that you want to change. In a sense, you've bridged the gap between the students and also the teachers in the school who are actually like certified to make changes in the school. And also because the student voice, it helps me, because I'm really passionate about this whole project. It helps me be more active in a sense of how I'm going to advocate in the future, and also how I get to talk to people about things that make this place or my learning environment a much better place, helping me grow as a person as well, and find things that I want to do next, or things that will actually help this project progress to other schools or ones near in my community as well.
Wow, thank you. And I can really see that confidence coming across. So it's really, really great to hear that you feel this has helped you kind of boost your confidence. And really, I really think it's special how you've kind of been involving your teachers and kind of modeling to other students in your school that actually like, they can do the same as well. Because I know how much teachers love to know from students what they'd like to see kind of change in their school. And you know, playful learning, you know, it comes from both sides. You know, like teachers really do need to understand what's working in the school and like how they can kind of support students better. So really amazing to see how you've done that. B, how has this opportunity to use your student voice on issues you're passionate about supported your journey as a playful learning advocate?
This was a really valuable opportunity, and I'm glad that I've been inspiring others to become change makers in school and being a positive influence as a playful learning advocate. And I could lead students in my community to take action on issues they're passionate about. I'm glad that I've been able to show you don't need to be a teacher or an authoritative figure to change your environment for the better, and honoring that everyone has a voice and a passion that is valid. And I find myself constantly thinking of new ways to improve the world around me. So my journey as a playful learning advocate taught me that I can act on those ideas and make them meaningful to others.
Thank you, B. And Hazal, how's the opportunity supported you in your school?
Actually, this opportunity helps me to be more confident about talking about my ideas and generally my thoughts, and it also helped me gain confidence about doing presentations, talking in big groups. And also I make so much a conversation with my teachers during this project, and really shows me that I can actually make a change. And like it's kind of start small, but it's gonna grow somehow. Because before this project, I also want to like change the world all the time, but I always been like, how am I going to do that? I try to find a sport. When my teacher told me about the GSL project, I feel so excited, and I felt like, oh my God, that's actually the chance of me changing my community and the things that I saw as an issue in my school. So I'm really glad that I'm on this project, and actually I did what I did as in the whole group, and hopefully I can continue improving the world and my community as well.
Wow, thank you so much. All three of you, it's been really amazing to hear about your journeys on the programme, and your projects were so inspiring, and it's been just great to see how you've kind of developed and become more confident as a result. So thank you so much for sharing. And we've got with us, we're really lucky today to also have with us Tam, who's one of the teachers that supported this project. So Tam, I'd love it if you could introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Tam. I'm from Vietnam, the Olympia schools in Hanoi, and it's great opportunity for me and our students to join the Catalyst program. It has been an amazing journey because playful learning is important, but overall it's quite neglected in many cases. So I think this is a very rare opportunities, especially when you build the student voice and student agencies during this process. Yeah, we were totally impressed with the training, the Catalyst training, and I think that all the students were, loved the way that the teachers, the trainers, facilitated it. Yeah, you are the role model for playful learning. So yeah, they were quite impressed on that, and I think that was a great opportunity for them to explore about the leadership styles, what are their own leadership style, what they can do better. They explore themselves more, and they are exposed to playful learning concepts and what they can do as well. And I think that one of the best thing is that they get connected with students all over the world. and they feel that they really want to have more time and interactions with other students. So yeah, we hope that after this we can have students work together on some playful learning projects. Yeah, thank you.
No, thanks, Hamid. Yeah, it's and well, thank you so much, you know, to you and for, you know, your school taking part in the project. It's been really amazing to have you kind of working with us, and also, you know, you as a teacher giving your feedback as we went along, and we were, you know, trying something new. So we've really appreciated that so much. And I guess I just have like you've shared a little already, but I've got kind of two questions for you. So maybe you can share a little bit more if that's okay. And the first question I've got is really like, you know, how has this program supported your students to become playful learning advocates and to create change on an issue that they're passionate about?
Yeah, okay, thank you. So yeah, as I said before, the Catalyst program has provided the students with firstly the leadership training, training and the introduction about playful learning. So I think the students and then later on they got introduced to a 30-day individual challenge. And the first part was kind of an overview of the program and different resources that you bring to the students. We can see that during the leadership training, all the students were introduced to how the leadership styles, how they can envision for changes, what are the tools and the tools that they can have during the leading, and how they can engage different stakeholders in that journey, and also they can see themselves as a leader, and what are the areas that personally they need to improve, or what are the strengths that they're having. One of the things I feel quite impressed is that they say that they feel that if you are stressful, that's normal, and there would be ways to tackle that. So that's one of the critical things, because sometimes the students feel that they need to be successful, they need to be joyful all the time. It's not necessary to be so, but as long as you have a vision, you have a some goals to follow, and then you can work for that. I think also they got the chance to learn more about playful learning, its characteristics, and how they can embed playful learning in their own setting and the school setting, as well as in the community. So we are impressed with the way that many students were, kind of very eager to apply that in their project with their siblings, with their classmates, and with the teachers in different ways. So I really think that this is a very well-rounded program.
Thank you, Tam. And it's so true. One of the things that we look at in all our programs is sort of that resilience, and in life, it's not that things sometimes can go wrong. It's almost guaranteed that things will go wrong. Things will not go perfectly with anything that you do. And it's a real part of leadership, is like being able to respond to that and to learn from that, and know that it's not the end of the world. And actually, sometimes when things go wrong, you make your projects even better, because you found a better way to do it. And so it's really great that you've sort of picked up on that and seen that from your students. And another question for you really is, like, could you tell me a highlight of yours in witnessing the change that students have created over the 30-day challenge?
Yeah. We have a Padlet for the students to give their reflection, and they share with us that the the more they got involved in the program, the more that they feel the more that they feel inspired, and what would like to take more actions. And also we see that they, as I said before, they explore more about themselves and the type of leader they are. So they, after that process, they get more confident, and they can they feel more comfortable in expressing their ideas, and you know, like using different type of modalities to share the ideas. It can be comic, it can be, you know, using technologies like Canva, for example. So they feel quite comfortable with all that. And I think one of the thing I really like is that they also, yeah, they're introduced to SDGs as well, which seems very big, but the students made it possible to share it in different ways. Very easy to understand to the audience, be it their family or the classmates. So I think that that's a very good thing, because that's how students do things, right? I think that's sort of the key, that we want them to transform lots of issues, lots of topics in our daily lives in a very manageable ways for their peers or for younger kids to understand, to be on board with them, and to feel inspired and take actions. So I personally, I feel that's one of the thing that's really great to see in the transformation of our students. And the time that they took part in the training was also the peak time for exams, especially after 7 months of online learning in Vietnam due to COVID. But they feel quite engaged in that, and very excited to start the project in the next school year, because we end the school year at the end of May. So we really feel that the students have transformed themselves, being more confident, being more comfortable in, you know, expressing their own messages, and create their action plan in a way that they can involve many different stakeholders. Yeah. And for our school, we also have lots of rooms for them. We are doing renovation of learning spaces. And, you know, yeah, we have a new cell-based program, and, you know, that type of thing. We welcome all of them. And also some of them would like to try to be a member of the student government organization, where they are really leaders and can make the changes. You know, yeah, so we are excited.
Wow, it's so great to hear about what's happening in your school, and yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And
Yeah,
I love what I love what you were saying about the SDGs and how the program has helped you know, your sort of like break those down and see what they can do locally. Because I think I know when I look at the SDGs, you know, sometimes it can feel overwhelming and think, gosh, how can we make change? There's so much that needs to happen. And I think, but actually, we, as you know, as individuals, there is something that all of us can do. And you know, it's really, really great that you've seen that, and you know, it's really, really powerful what can happen if we all make one small change. It's incredible what can happen. So thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, and just one thing, one of our students has made, you know, like composed a rap song about gender equality. And it was, yeah, you know, it was used by UN Women for a national campaign. So I'm really looking forward to the next year. Maybe, you know, playful learning is even more, you know, closer to them even. So maybe they can express that through some kind of, you know, maybe music or arts or whatever. But yeah, we're excited to see that happening. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I need to hear that song. That sounds amazing. Thank you so much. And wow, I'm just like, we have a little bit of time left, so I'm wondering if anyone who's listening might have a question for anyone, you know, for Stuart, for Tam, for one of our students. So I would just like to invite, if there's any comments, questions, would you like to just add it to the chat now or raise your hand? I can, yes, Kashana, we all need to hear the rap. We need to find this. We'll find a way to share this on our social media so everyone can hear the rap. That sounds amazing. Does anyone have a question that they'd like to share? Stuart, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask any of the panelists that we've got here today?
I have some reflections which I'll share later.
Oh, I'll ask you for those in a minute.
Yeah. So I guess, what are some of the things that would support you in building your sense of your own, as you talked about feeling more confident and more empowered to make change? So what are some of the things that would support you, or what are some of the other things we could have done to support you to really get empowered to make change in your community?
That is a great question. So I know everyone's been showing things that they've liked about the course, but what else could we have done? How could we have better supported? So B, yes, please share.
I think it would have been, sorry about that. I think it would have been great if there was more opportunities for interaction after the 3-day course to interact with the other students involved around the world, because we could have continued to inspire each other more.
Great, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? That's a great thought. And Kashana?
Sorry, that took me a long time to unmute myself. But however, adding on to B's point, I feel like the 3-day Catalyst program did not let us if I feel like my project would have benefited more if it was more like widespread. If I mean, like, we had a whole 30 people from different areas of the world, and if we had more time to get in contact with them and actually structure our projects together, we probably would have created bigger change in our communities, and it would have been worldwide other than just secure in one place. In a sense, I feel like if they had let us coordinate our projects and talk to each other about what we could do in 2 different countries, for example, we would have created bigger change.
It's funny, stay tuned, everybody who's listening. I'm not going to give anything away, but there are some announcements coming at the end of the fest about what's coming next for GSL, and so I will we also think it would be amazing to let people collaborate across the world. How powerful would that be? So please stay listening right to the end. Don't jump off after the announcement of the winner of the comp. And Tam, you've got your hand raised.
Hi, yeah, I just want to add to B's comments as well. And I think her project is really great and feasible in the school setting. So we would love to have our students to get involved in different projects, especially on that. I think kids would love that. They can make the real change in their own school, right? Thank you, B, and other students.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm seeing there's some comments there. I think lots of support for that coming in from Dietri, from Claire, from our teacher this morning, and yeah, Kashana. So thank you so much.
I've just popped on because I've noticed there are a couple in the Q&A box as well.
Oh, I think
so. Aaron Molly from Team Elite Sapiens in their Global Girls competition has asked, how do you think a team can introduce playful learning to a school and start the process? So I'm not quite sure who that's aimed at there, but whoever wants to jump in.
I just want to check, Alice, sorry, your sound isn't great, so I'm just going to repeat the question. How do you think a team can introduce playful learning to a school and start the process? So that's from Aaron Molly from Team Elite Sapiens. So yeah, Kashana, would you like to?
Sorry, I just muted myself. So something that I did to introduce playful learning into my school is basically I wanted to talk to it about people there and spread the word and stuff. So at first I was thinking, okay, let's do an assembly for my year group, so year 9 in general. But unfortunately, due to some timing issues, there was no way in which I could do that. So I started to like rescale my project and actually start with my form group instead. It's a group of 30 people, so still a lot of widespread word, and also because I can speak more freely with them and actually engage them in what I'm talking about. So if you want to first start with like what playful characteristic you want to focus on, or what element of your school or place or thing that you want to change, you can actually spread the word about that. And in a sense, like gossip, it will spread like wildfire if it's something interesting. And that's basically the end of my tip.
I love that. It's such a great tip, Koshana. It's like start small. You don't have to introduce everything at once. Pick the thing that's most important to you, and as you say, word will spread. And Hazal, I can see your hand is up. What would you like to add?
I think maybe like for spreading the playful learning catalyst, I actually talked to some of my friends when they start doing a project, because in our school we made a few projects during the years, and I actually told them, but maybe if we talk with our teachers and give the playful learning idea and say, can we use it in our classes during this and doing this, maybe that can help everybody to learn what it's all about and actually use them in the other projects that they have.
That's lovely. So true. So important to share. And Tam, I can see your hand is up as well. Oh, you're waving.
No, sorry, I'm below loud.
No worries,
Yeah.
at all. I can see Dichu's added to the box, you know, a list of organisations that would want to partner and how we can contact them. Yeah, also a great idea. Thank you so much for that. So before I hand over to Stuart for some of his reflections, any final questions or comments or advice or for any of our panelists? No, I think we'll leave it there. It's been amazing. Thank you so much to everyone for the questions, and to all of our panelists, Koshana, Bee, Hazal, and Tam. So grateful for not just joining us here today, but for taking part in the whole pilot program, for your amazing support. To everyone that's listening, they really have given us so much. They've been involved in focus groups and surveys about the program, and you know, it really has been not just sort of doing the program, but because it's been a pilot and learning, they've supported us as well. So be really thinking, how could we make it better for other people? So just really like huge well done, thank you to all of you, and I can't wait to hear about how your projects kind of continue, and so do keep us updated. We'd love to hear like what's happening next year in school, so yeah, do keep in touch with the GSL team. But Stuart, I'd love to hand over to you for some reflections. I would love to sort of hear what your kind of key learnings or takeaways have been from the pilot that we've been working on together.
Yeah, so I guess a learning or a takeaway that we probably already knew was that you know, Future Foundations and GSL is a great way to build kind of leadership capacity in a general sense, and so you know, we're really pleased that that was the case, and that you know, that people have had a really good experience of building their leadership and then doing something important in their community that's having ripples. In terms of specifically sort of playful learning, I think you could see in the projects and in the wider range of projects we've seen in other calls that it's sometimes playful about how you do your project. It's sometimes playful in what you do and what you focus on. It's sometimes playful about how you learn. And all of those things are powerful. All of them at the same time is even more powerful. The most exciting bit, I think, is hearing like Shana B. Hazal talk about feeling confidence to begin to feel like you can make change, and that you are change makers as your identity, and you can bring others with you. And actually for me, before we got into the making connections bit, I'd say the bit that made me happiest is that obviously we can all see the chat and some of it, but there's also a sort of host and panel chat, and where Bee and Hazal and Kashana began to congratulate each other, that well done, great job, and begin to want to connect with each other away from the adults and take it. And what you want is, we want young people, this is your life, this is your education. As a foundation, we want you to feel that ownership, that you own it, you shape it, you make it. And often people think of school and the way, you know, even the idea of like an exam or the idea of class, they think of it like mountains or trees, that it was always there, that you can't change it, that it's just a thing. Whereas every single thing about school was a choice, a good one or a bad one, made by other human beings who may have been a bit older than you. They may or may not have had better ideas than you, possibly not. And so that beginning of a realization that your experiences of childhood and learning, you should have voice and ownership of that. And if they're not joyful and meaningful and doing what they need to do for you to thrive, then they should change. And there is no excuse for them not to be changing. And I speak as sort of a teacher and I've been a school principal, I've been a teacher, my parents were teachers. So I say this with love, but the thing that normally drives social change might be schools. So you might say schools are going to advocate for environmental education. It's really easy to sort of have quite liberal and progressive views about education because it's not really affecting you. And so schools can be drivers and engines of that change and drive youth movements. And it's quite hard for schools to do that about themselves because the same teachers, I say that as a teacher, I'm not saying that as a criticism, the same system is the one that's sort of supporting you to have that voice. So I think it's brave, I'm really glad that the schools engage with this and your teachers are so supportive, but knowing that that's, a complex journey and it's really important. So my overall learning is it's doable. We can make change. It builds people's capacity. There's appetite for it. The desire to connect to each other and take this further together is there. And having a supportive school that allows you to do that thinking is really important. So thank you very much for all the schools that took part. And yeah, and we can do it. It just needs support and it needs that bravery and that confidence that you felt coming. And together we all shape a sort of more meaningful, more joyful, more authentic experience of childhood and learning, which means school. So those would be my overall kind of reflections.
Wow, thank you. And so true about bravery, because it really was amazing. We didn't give schools much notice to apply for this, and they responded so enthusiastically, and it really is quite brave. I remember in my first conversations with the teachers at the start, I said, what does this mean? Are you going to train them to tell us what to do in the classroom? Like, what's this going to mean for us as teachers? And it was just really, really amazing how actually they were excited about that. They embraced that. And it really is important that, we're all hearing from students, from young people about kind of what matters to them, what helps them learn better. And so it's just been really, I think it's one of the amazing things about GSL in general is just how our incredible kind of educator community as well that supports all of our young people, and it's so embracing of like wanting to hear kind of young people's voices and let them lead the way. And so Tam and all the other teachers that took part, just really, really incredible to be so open and so brave and just put yourself, you just get no idea what's going to come from the project. So yeah, a huge thank you, I think, to the teachers, because I think it really is really, really brave. And Tam, while you were talking, Tam sent me, which I put in the chat, the links to the rap video. So one is a version with subtitles in Vietnamese, and one has sign language, which is really, really amazing. So thank you so much, Tam. I encourage everyone, we're coming up to a break soon, so that would be a good opportunity for everybody to take a look at that rap focused on gender equality, and yeah, really, really special. So yeah, all that's left for me today really is just to thank all of you for taking part. It's been really amazing to hear your experiences, and we're really excited to keep the conversation going about what we can do more to encourage kind of playful learning in schools, and can't wait to share our full learnings that we've had from the pilot with Lego in July, and to hear more of your reflections, Stuart, and your learnings about how we can improve as well. But yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jess, and thank you to all members of the panel. This has been really great to just sit here and receive all this knowledge, all this wonderful wonderful journeys that you shared. So it leaves me feeling very nice and kind of warm and fuzzy inside, and thinking that actually like the future of education, the future of the world is in a really, really good place, and it's going into even better places. So thank you all.